Hi, this is Rayaan Alam and this is the Rayaan Alam Show. Today's guest is India's sporting legend and he's won multiple world titles both in snooker and billiards. He has represented India in incredible consistency for over 2 decades. Today with me I have Pankaj Advani. Thank you so much for doing this.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well, how are you?
Fine, lovely, thank you.
So how's billiards and snooker going?
Yeah, it's taken up all my life, I guess, but I wouldn't complain because I don't think I'd have it any other way.
So what was a normal day in your life when you were a teenager or 14 years old?
Well, there'll be two different answers for this.
Okay.
One is before I started the game, and one is after I started playing
Probably
billiards and
after you
snooker.
started the game.
I started playing this game when I was around 10, 11 years old.
Wow.
And I was in school.
Uh-huh.
My elder brother Shri used to play this
Okay.
game with his friends, and I used to
Okay.
follow him to the snooker club, just 2 minutes away from my building. And I was very curious about this sport. What is this sport? Pool, snooker, billiards, and played on the green bays and with pockets and all the colorful balls, all over the table. As a youngster, I played the usual conventional sports, so-called outdoor sports like cricket and football and, basketball and all of that. But I was very, very at a very basic level.
Okay.
I was pretty good. I had a sporting sense.
Okay.
But I don't think I would have excelled in any of those sports until I found billiards and snooker. And after that, when I started playing the game, I would go to school. I would ensure that I free up my time. I would ensure that I study and sort of pay attention in class so that I free up those 2-3 hours post school hours to hone my skills further in the game. And then one thing led to another, and I never knew that this would become my career.
That's great. Did you always dream of becoming a snooker player or did it just come onto you naturally?
I mean, this is a sport where I feel like I was introduced by chance, and I always feel that destiny has a huge part to play. I don't think I'd ever planned that I would become a sports person. We've never had any sports person in our family play professionally and make a career out of it, and I mean, out of all sports, probably who would have thought that billiards and snooker would be my calling. But I'm so glad that it turned out that way, because I mean, I felt like the moment I touched the cue for the first time, just to let everybody know that it's a very technical sport.
Yeah.
You got to have the bridge and the stance and the cue and everything. And the first shot that I ever played on the pool table, I potted the ball.
Oh, wow.
And there was no looking back after that.
That's insane. Was there ever a moment when you were a child that you realized, okay, I can go world class?
As a child, probably not. I was just consumed by the game. I was extremely passionate. In fact, in school, you have these small desks, rectangular desks. Of course, now with you all, I'm sure it's more technologically driven, and you'll have fancier stuff in your
Probably,
classrooms.
you could say so.
But at that time, there were conventional classrooms, and I used to imagine the table being my desk, and I used to all calculate those angles over there, and that's how consumed I was by the game. But it was only when I reached the finals of the Asian Championships in 2002
Okay.
and the semi-finals of the World Under 21 Championships in the same year did I feel like, okay, fine, if I can go this far in international tournaments, then probably I just have to go a step or two further and I can be world champion one day. And it was always my dream, even from the beginning. I didn't know how tough it would be. I didn't know how easy it would be. I mean, I never put any label or judgment to it. I just went with the flow. But when I got those results in 2002, I felt I have a real shot.
That's nice. So when you started winning, people used to see trophies, right? So what did they not see when you were growing?
The preparation, the motivation to make yourself ready and prepared, to give yourself a chance to win those trophies. That's what people haven't seen. They've seen the trophies, they've seen the eventual result, but they haven't seen what goes behind the scenes.
Yeah.
The number of losses it took for me to get to the top, the number of failures it took for me to finally take them as stepping stones to success. That's what they haven't seen.
Do you think failure is one of the key reasons where you've reached today?
Absolutely. I think in every sports person's careers, you look at the top tennis players, you look at the top basketballers, you look at every top athlete and champion. They have failed probably as much as they have succeeded, or if not failed more than they have succeeded. But eventually, they held on and they never gave up. And I've always uh, held on to that thing that, results are never an indication of who you are. It's just about that day and about how you felt that day that led to your performance. But you are not your performance on a particular day. You are the result of many, many years of consistency and hard work.
Looks like you're the person who's written that message there.
Oh,
The second
failure is not an option. No, no, no. I disagree. Actually, I have to share this with you. I'm a typical Leo, and as much as I hate losing, I love winning even more. So I think as of now, I do embrace failure. Maybe earlier I was a little more stubborn.
Yeah.
Even when I used to have friendly games of cricket or whatever, and I used to always sulk when I lost. Sometimes I still do that, and I feel like it's a good sign. I feel like failure should hurt you. I feel like losing a match should hurt an athlete if they really want to do well, because only when it hurts you, you go back to the drawing board and you tell yourself, okay, what do I need to do to get better? What do I need to do to come back stronger? And that's when you find your answers.
That's some quality advice right there. Thank you for sharing that. How many hours did you practice when you were younger?
Oh, as a teenager, when I started playing the game for the first few years, at least 6 hours.
Wow.
And for a moment, I never thought that I'm working hard, because I enjoyed it so much. Yes, I know people say that you must have worked hard to achieve, and I'll get to that later. But as far as the game is concerned, I never felt it was hard work. It was pure joy. It was something that I looked forward to doing, something that I wanted to do as soon as I woke up from my bed. And that's the love and passion I had for the game. And I feel that has definitely held me in good stead for a long period of time.
Probably a similar story with me as well, because I am a die-hard fan of football and I train for about 3 hours a day.
Wow, that's a lot considering it's a very physical sport.
Kind of is 2 hours in my academy and 1 hour in school. So like even I don't feel that I've put any hard work in it, while my coaches probably feel that there's a lot of hard work going in it. I just enjoy the sport and it just goes along. So we basically have a similarity between things, I guess.
Absolutely.
And hopefully one day I'll be sitting there and someone else sitting here.
Yes, very soon.
So in your game, in the Q sport, how important is mental health?
It's an extremely mentally demanding sport. So billiards, snooker, pool, all cue sports require immense focus, concentration, and mental toughness.
So when you talk about billiards or Q sports, so who's one person that you've looked up to while you've started playing the sport?
My coach, Arvind Savur,
Okay.
because when I started playing this game and I went from the club near my house, I went to the Karnataka State Billiards Association, which is now my second home. I call it that because I've spent half my life over there honing my skills and practicing, and I still do. And when I entered the association, I saw Mr. Savur play over there, and a lot of people told me that he's the senior most player and he's one of the best coaches in India. And the moment I saw him play the game, I understood that this man is different. He has every knowledge of every inch of the table. That's how evolved, or that's how efficient, or that's how knowledgeable he is on the green base. And initially, I have to share this story with you that in the initial part of my career, when I was 11 and a half years old, I wanted to get coached by him, and he refused me. He said, "No, you're too short." And he said that it will interfere in your technique. And now I understand why he said that, because it was a technical issue. That if you don't reach the table, then you sort of, there are some technical glitches that you would face when you grow up later on. So that was the most disappointing, that was the most heartbreaking day of my life back then. And I said, I'm going to do pull-ups, I'm going to play basketball, I'm going to do whatever it takes to gain that 2-3 inches of height so that I get a chance to be trained by him. 6 months later, he came up to me and he said, you know what, now you're ready. And I can't tell you how much of a difference that has made, that, Mr. Savur being in my life, giving me all his knowledge, and I could see the difference instantly.
Has a loss ever taught you more than a win has?
I think losses teach you much more than victories. If success takes you one step forward, failure takes you 10. And the reason I'll tell you why is because when you're successful, or rather in the world's perception of being successful, if you win. Now, take for example, there are 128 players in a tournament, a tennis tournament, right? We just finished with Roland Garros, the French Open. That's why I'm bringing up that example. And there's only one winner. The remaining 127 people who did not win that trophy will go back and say, okay, fine, what mistakes did I make? Or how can I be better next time? Or how can I be more prepared for the next tournament and try and win the trophy and the tournament? That one person who won will go back celebrating, of course, take all the positives and enjoy the victory and celebrate it with family and friends and loved ones. But the ones who've not won are going to work harder and are going to learn more from their defeats than the winner.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel failure is very, very important.
After winning so much, how do you still stay hungry to play that sport?
Because I was hungry for titles, whether it was billiards, whether it was snooker, whether it was the short format, whether it was the long format. And a lot of people are confused about, how I've won 28 world titles in the course of my career. This is the reason why, because I chose to give myself a shot in the short format of billiards and in the long format, and then in the short format of snooker and the long format, as well as the team championships. So I ended up winning as much as I did titles as a result of that.
That's insane. Thank you. Amazing. Like, I don't know much about billiards or snooker. Like, could you tell me the difference between billiards and snooker? What's like the main difference between the two sports?
So to break it down in very simple terms, both billiards and snooker are played on the same table.
Okay.
Billiards is played with 3 balls, yellow, white and red. And snooker is played with the red triangular frame that you have. 15 reds are there in that triangle. And there are 6 color balls.
Okay.
Yellow, green, brown, blue, pink and black. And then there's the white ball, which is the cue ball. With which you strike and play every shot. So in a nutshell, I would say that snooker is more of a little more, a quicker format, a little more interesting for the spectators. I mean, that's what, I've heard from most of the people who follow the sport. But billiards is a game of endurance and stamina.
Okay. Thanks for breaking it up for me. So, in your opinion, what do you think social media has on younger children or younger generations as being a sports person?
I think social media is very important in certain aspects, such as information, access to videos, to education, to learning, and even bringing out a nice personal and fun side of people which you normally wouldn't get to see otherwise, especially of celebrities or people who are known in our country and across the globe, and you have much easier access to them. But I also feel that social media, on the other hand, can be filled with hatred and people starting to troll celebrities, or even just anybody who makes a comment or voices their opinion which could be controversial. So it's got its pros and cons, but I think on the whole, if you use social media as a tool to learn new things and to spread information and to gain information, I think it's a wonderful platform for the younger generation.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing your advice. So I have a quick game for you. So I'll ask you a few questions and you need to rate them out of 10. So you can either say 2 on 10, 5 on 10, 8 on 10, 10 on 10. Whichever one you like. It's more about you, okay?
Okay.
So, and you could, first few of them you could tell a reason why you'd pick that.
All right.
Okay. So, first question is, how disciplined were you at 14? 8 on 10.
8 on 10.
Wow.
Yeah. I've never been the most disciplined, but when required, I've always, I think discipline is also a very mental thing. I've been mentally very disciplined, maybe not entirely by habit, but in my mind, I've always known, okay, now is the time to focus on. And I want to share this actually with even all the youngsters. I feel like, and I know probably you're going to ask me this later, but I want to say it now, that I've always focused on the thing that I'm doing with 100%. So, for example, if it's time for me to study, I will put my 100% into that and forget everything else. If it's time for me to play, I'll put my 100% into that and forget about everything else. Right? So, I've always been that one task person where I'm horrible at multitasking. So, if you want to ask me a question about multitasking, I think I'll have the lowest score for you. But yeah, 8 on 10.
Okay. How confident were you at 14?
Confident was I at 14? 5. Off the table, I mean, I'm talking about confidence all over, right?
Okay, yeah.
Are we
all
talking
over.
about
Yeah,
confidence
all
all
over.
over? Yeah. So it's not just the game. 5.
5. Okay.
Because I lacked exposure. I felt shy to talk to people. I felt shy to open up about many things, about, or to ask the right questions when I was a teenager. So, 5.
Okay, that's fine. How patient were you at 14?
If you ask me that question now, I would go with 10.
Okay.
But at 14, I have to now think about that time.
Probably a 5 or an
And I'll go with 2, I think.
8. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
2. My opponent used to get a fluke and I used to get really irritated. Anybody got, lucky with me while playing, I used to lose it.
I mean, I think
So-
that's normal because, like, you're irritated that while you hit a good shot and it didn't go in, but he hit a random shot and it went in. So, how competitive were you at 14?
Competitive. Oh. I think this has to be.
10 on 10.
This will remain with me until I play the sport, until I'm done, because I'm a typical Leo and I'm hardcore competitive.
Wait, when you say you're Leo,
July 24th Leo.
you know what? I'm born on July 24th as well.
Wow, that's insane. That's amazing. What a coincidence.
Exactly.
So you know how Leos function, right? We hate losing, but we
Always
love winning even more. And we're extremely competitive.
Yeah, that's
So-
insane.
Yeah, so you would go with the 10 as well.
Of course.
I'll give you a 10 for that. Highly competitive.
So, how important is talent and success? For success?
How important is talent for success? On the scoreboard?
Yeah.
I'll go with
5.
Yeah. Because talent is not the whole package. Talent is just one aspect of it. And while I love players who are naturally gifted, if you look at any sport, like you look at a Federer in tennis, whom I'm a fan of, I love watching his natural style of play. But then you've had players who've also challenged him and even been better than him at times. You look at football, you look at, so many different sports. There is that one player who makes the game beautiful to
Yeah.
watch. And that is talent. But that is not a result of only talent alone.
Yeah,
They've worked
of
really
course.
hard at their craft. They've been disciplined and they've, trained hard and brought about consistent habits to achieve over a long period of time. So talent 5 on 10, and the remaining, of course, is discipline, hard work, and determination,
Yeah.
most importantly.
So, now when you've already answered this, so how important is discipline? The other 5 probably?
Yeah, the other 5. But I think I'll go with 8 on 10.
8 on 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
because as sports people, and you know this, you play
Yeah, of
football
course.
yourself, that when you go to a different field, for example, it feels totally different. You have to acclimatize yourself
yeah.
to the conditions, to the crowd. Sometimes the crowd is hostile. Sometimes, the pace of the ball changes. The turf, your shoes. Sometimes you are able to run faster or slower. So you have to adapt. So I feel that while discipline is good, it's also sometimes good to disrupt that so that you're training yourself to be consistent in different environments.
So when you talked about the changes, I recently went to a tournament to Goa to play football. So when I compare the turfs that we have in Bangalore compared to Goa, it's unbelievable. Over there, the turfs are so rough, the ball doesn't move, nothing moves. So
There you go.
when you said,
Yeah, so I think, but that does not also boil down to only discipline. I think it also boils down to adaptability.
yeah,
And that's something I've based my game on. The fact that I've been able to adapt to very, very different conditions over the course of my, 25-year career. And I'm sure that when you, experience even more different conditions and turfs and fields, you would have to calibrate and say, okay, fine, now what can I do to adjust to
Yeah.
these particular conditions? And then when I go back home, again, I have to alter my style.
yeah. What hobbies do you like doing outside of Q Sports?
I love sleeping during my free time. Nice. And I'm serious about it. My friends make fun of me saying that even during afternoons, this guy likes to sleep, and then it sort of cuts down the time that I get to meet them later. But I know sleeping is not a hobby, but it's something that I love catching up on, especially when I've had a really tiring tournament. And you know how that feels, right? Being a sports
Probably,
person
yeah.
yourself, where you've just come back from a hectic tournament,
And then you just wanna
and you just
sleep.
want to, for those first 2-3 days, just be by yourself, or even at home, and just put the AC on if it's hot and just sleep.
Yeah.
But no, I like watching movies. I love watching movies. Of course, the latest ones that I've watched
What's your
are
favorite movie?
Durandar Part
Okay.
1, Part 2. So yeah, but I'm a huge Batman fan. I
Oh,
don't know.
nice.
I don't know if you follow superheroes and
Not
stuff.
really, but cool
yeah.
to hear.
Yeah, the Dark Knight trilogy, my favorite, by Christopher Nolan.
Cool. So, what's the best advice that you've received from someone?
To stay in your lane. So there was this swimmer, I don't remember the name, but this swimmer at the university championships always used to finish second or third, because he would look, while competing and while racing, would look at the other lanes to see how his competitors were doing. And the coach noticed that and said, and this the swimmer said, you know what, I'm as good or if not better than the others, why am I not winning? So the coach said, because you're not staying in your lane. And what he meant was is that you're not focusing on your own speed and your strengths, you're looking at the others. So when somebody told me this story, in fact I think my brother himself told me this story, and he said that you have to stay in your lane and stop worrying about your competition, stop preparing based only on what your opponents are doing, or stop playing your opponents. You have to compete with yourself and stay in your lane. And that's the best advice I've ever got.
That's some great advice, genuinely speaking. So I have another game. It's called What Would Pankaj Do? Okay.
Really?
It
Okay.
is. So
What would I do? Okay.
I'm gonna give you a few scenarios, okay, and I'm gonna give you it's situations that teenagers often face, and you just tell us what you'd do.
Wow. The times have changed now.
And no worries.
When
what
I was a
you would do
teenager,
probably.
it was about 20 plus years ago. And then, times have changed now. But I'll try.
No
I'll
worries.
try and go back to that
It
time.
works. So the scenario is you're 14, you have an important exam tomorrow. You also have sports practice. What would Pankaj do?
Sports practice.
Yes.
Exam, of course. Exam is priority, because if I had a tournament, that would be different. But if I have just practice, nothing doing. Exam is priority for me.
Okay. You worked very hard but keep losing. What would Pankaj do?
Work very hard, but
you keep losing.
You have this thing here, work smart, not hard.
Yeah.
I would start doing that.
So you feel lazy and don't want to practice. What would Pankaj do?
There are times that I feel like taking the day off, and sometimes I allow myself that also, but not before a tournament. So if it's before a tournament,
You have to go.
then I'm definitely going. And if it just could be for half an hour, 1 hour.
Yeah.
But I definitely have to go.
So last two scenarios. You fail publicly and everyone sees it. What would Pankaj do?
Cry for a day, maybe, alone. And then understand that the result is temporary. I feel both success and failure aren't final. You'll never always win, and if you do the right things, you'll never always lose.
Yeah, true. So last scenario, you've already achieved your dreams. What would Pankaj do next?
I think I want to realize my true potential as a player, because I still feel I'm not done. I still feel that there is 15-20% more of me that I can improve as a player.
Yeah.
And the fact that I know that I'm a very keen student of the game and of anything that I do. And if you keep your eyes and ears open to learning and you're receptive to learning, you'll always become better than the previous day.
True.
So that's what I really aspire to be. And then, of
Wow.
course, to take my sport and make it more visible and make it more popular in my country.
Wow. Yeah, it's really good. I'm pretty sure you've already made it very popular.
Hopefully, and there's still a lot more to be done.
Of course. So moving on to some rapid fires. So I'll be asking you two options, this or that. You just tell me which one it is.
Sure.
Works? Billiards or snooker?
Ooh, not so tough, my friend. Not so tough. Not the first one. After my teenage years, billiards.
Okay.
And if you ask me now, I think again snooker.
Snooker,
So
billiards,
snooker, billiards, snooker. But my main achievements are in billiards. So just saying.
World Championship or National Championships?
World Championship any day.
Winning or improving?
Ooh. We're both Leos. Winning. First winning.
Pressure or comfort?
Pleasure or comfort?
Pressure.
Pressure or comfort? Pressure, of course. I feel if you're a sports person, if you're a competitive sports person, you have to embrace and enjoy the pressure.
Yeah.
Yes, sometimes it gets to us, but that's part and parcel of the job.
Yeah.
So pressure any day.
Talent or hard work?
That's very, very. It's difficult because I feel talent and no hard work may not yield results, and only hard work without talent can still yield positive results. So I will go with hard work, but I'm a huge fan of those who are naturally gifted.
Yeah. Discipline or motivation?
Motivation.
Early mornings or late nights?
I would love to say early mornings, but that does not go with me. So late nights.
Books or movies? Movies.
Movies, definitely. Any day.
Tea or coffee?
Tea,
Coffee.
for sure.
Tea. Okay. Practice match or tournament match?
It depends on my state of mind. I'm not always ready for a competition. So, but I'm very competitive. So I'd say match day.
Okay. India or abroad?
In terms of what?
In terms of your gameplay, probably. Okay, we'll have to gameplay and lifestyle.
So in terms of conditions, I would say abroad.
Okay.
But in terms of just the playing comfort and being around,
Okay.
my friends and known players and stuff, India. I love my country for many things, but I also feel like we need to improve in certain aspects. But in terms of my sport, in terms of conditions, I think abroad there are a lot better
Yeah.
conditions.
One word that describes success.
Morality.
One word that describes failure.
Temporary.
One
Growth. Sorry, I'll change that to growth, not temporary. Growth.
Okay. One word that describes India.
Diverse.
One word that describes Pankaj Advani.
I can't be described in a word. I'm not answering that question. No, I'd say that's not one word. I like to be true to myself. So that's 3 words. True to myself. Honest. Let's put it that way.
Okay. What's one advice that you would give to teenagers my age who are trying to succeed but probably struggle with consistency?
Consistency is a sum total of your habits. So if you develop good habits, you'd end up being consistent. If I had to tell the youngsters to be consistent, I'd say be consistent in being mentally and physically present in whatever activity you do.
Okay.
Everything is temporary. Even my trophies are temporary, even my position as number 1 in the world or in the national championships, even your achievements. And I hope you do go on to achieve many great things in your
Thank
field, genuinely. But we also have to understand that everything is just for that moment or just for that particular phase.
Okay.
So take everything with a pinch of salt. And while it's important to give it your best, don't be too attached to results.
Okay. So, last question for the day. If there was someone to write a newspaper about you, what would you want the headline to be?
Ooh. I'm just noticing this book over here. I think I would want it to be "You Can Do It." You can do it too. Because if I could do it, coming from a middle class background and with absolutely no knowledge and experience of the sport, I think anybody can. So you can do it too.
And you know something funny about it? My tagline for the show is "If I can, you can."
Oh, wow! I didn't know about that.
It's
I
not
just saw the
written
Rayaan
there,
Alam
yeah,
Show,
but like I usually say it in the end. If I can, you can.
Then you should go for it. But
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's
Lovely.
been a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for doing this. It wouldn't have been possible without you.
Thank you,
so
Ryan.
much.
You've
Thank
been
you.
amazing and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching this episode, and I hope you've learned and enjoyed a lot. Because hey, if I can, you can. Today's takeaway from the show with Pankaj Advani is Everything is temporary. Don't take success for granted.